Former Prime Minister Sir John Kotolawala to provide education to those wishing to join the Sri Lankan Armed Forces. I'm sure, though he has never said it, I'm sure Sir John Kotolawala would have looked at places like West Point and seen the military academies there and thought, for the military, there's a special training needed which cannot be given in civilian universities. And therefore, that dream that he had, we want to take that dream forward. But we are cautious for several reasons on this particular bill. Students intending to serve in uniform need a specialized education, and they will not get it in non-military institutions. So we want to strengthen the intentions of the donor. But the number of graduates, right, by the military in a particular field...
You got 2 more minutes.
In a particular field is going to be limited. For example, in the past year or something, I was told 40 medical students, one student to follow courses in law. Right? Now that will differ from year to year, but the actual issue is that it is going to be limited, and that problem is there. It makes no sense to expand the intake beyond the requirements of the military in that sense. We are not opposed to the principle of military university. We are opposed to the bill for 3 reasons. Self-regulation and supplier can't be the same. That is why the UGC needs to be brought into education, because regulation should be distinctly different. The military university does not solve the lack of spaces in higher education. This is one of our biggest issues, stifling progress. We need to increase the quality supply of education in this country. We don't want to compel parents to send their children overseas, not just because their country is losing foreign exchange, but the parents are doing with some discomfort. We don't want to limit the intellectual freedom of civilian students in higher education, and that's a threat to their personal development. To develop a holistic education, an environment of freedom and intellectual space is needed. We need to check the balance between the long-term quality of KNDU, and we feel that this is not being achieved by this bill. The KNDU will be serving non-military students and therefore must be regulated by the UGC. Sri Lanka has faced a lack of higher education seats for a long time. I'm happy to see that the SLPP is thinking of liberalizing this space. Across the barriers of Parliament, whether we are in government or in opposition, this is something that we must get together and do. We mustn't do what we did to Saitam. I feel sorry when I think about the late Dr. Neville Fernando, who proposed. The people in the Sri Lanka Freedom Party brought it here. We supported it. They encouraged it. And ultimately, when they went into opposition,
member, please wind up.
I'm going to wind up. They actually destroyed that opportunity. So there are many suppliers, government, non-government, and non-profit. Some of the world's most reputed universities are non-profit, non-government, a model that needs to be considered. And I'm hoping the government will create the space for that by bringing a bill. Alternative modules of education mustn't ignore social justice. Therefore, if somebody is going to study somewhere, irrespective of whether it's government or non-government, those students, based on their affordability, must be given grants and must be given loans. This is the way forward for Sri Lanka. The SJB, in conclusion, I might say, is not opposed to a military university, but we are opposed to the bill in its current form, and we'll move amendments to make the bill more accountable to the UGC. Thank you for the time given.